GIS out of the box. You know, no matter what kind of software that we use as surveyors. I remember in the early 80s when the DOS machines came out and we finally had coordinate geometry capability prevalent. I know there were some around before then, but not nearly as prevalent as when the personal computer came out. And every time a software package comes out, the software, it's up to that manufacturer to do their best to anticipate all of the different applications and needs that people are going to have. I remember when AutoCAD came out, it was a huge step for us in the surveying and engineering. However, there are many, many commands that we don't and probably will never use. And so there became custom menu, all kinds of things that were add-ons that would work inside of Autodesk. Well, when it comes to GIS software, ArcGIS or an ArcMap, ArcView, this product has a lot of commands to address a lot of different issues. And the whole reason that Jack Darrington started that company was ESRI, Environmental Software Research Institute. It was really to map the environment. And surveying probably wasn't even on his mind. As a matter of fact, I spoke with him and he said it wasn't. But now he realizes the value of the parcel layer and how important it is to have surveyors involved. And as far as ArcView and surveyors and GIS and managing a business, we are very lucky to have Rene Garcia, and he's going to go through the most basic commands that you're going to be using every day. And what's very important is like getting started. If you work in more than one state plane zone wherever you work, then you're going to have a state plane zone, or at least we recommend that you have a zone map for each of the zones that you're in, and that's part of your GIS functionalities, that you may have multiple base maps for the different areas. We're going to show you, or Renee's going to step us through, step by step, what we need to do to set up a base map in a given zone and the most common commands.
Okay, Robert, right now you probably see looking at a blank map, a blank ArcView project here. When you install the software, you'll get an icon on your desktop, or in your start menu you'll get an icon. It's going to look like this little earth ray. You bring it up, and
all right.
Pretty much what you're going to see right here, pretty much a blank screen and some tools. These toolbars are dockable. Right now this toolbar is floating. If I grab it and drag it up to the top, it'll just dock itself, and you can move it down to either side, whatever your preference is.
Let me ask you a question right there. They're dockable. I finally learned what that means, which means you could put them wherever you want to on the screen. But what happens sometimes, you know, I just lose them. How do you get your toolbars back and stuff if you lose them?
The easiest way, Robert, in this interface is just right click. My mouse is right up here, my cursor.
Mm-hmm.
I just right clicked right there.
Okay.
Remember you talked about all the tools
mm-hmm.
and all these different things. These are all these are toolbars, Robert. That are
wow.
They're off right now. The ones that are checked are actually on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of let it. I'm basically scrolling down, and let me pan this up. But this one is actually called. Let's see if I can get it to come up on the screen here. Can't see, but it's called Tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Tools, just like any of these down here at the bottom. It's actually out of the screen, but it's called Tools. If I uncheck it right now, you'll see it just disappeared.
I got you. So the way you get it back is right click and then go click it back on.
Scroll down to Tools. That one's called Tools.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back on. And there are many others. We won't go through any of these right now. You can see the GPS toolbar and a geocoding toolbar. Plenty of toolbars. This software is very powerful. There's many things you can do with it. Right now, we're just going to touch on some of the things that you might do on a daily basis, or just when you're getting started.
Yeah, and especially right now, you're going to help us actually set up a job in a zone. For example, for people that maybe have never used GIS before to manage their business, this is a great place to start.
Here we go. The first thing we're going to do, Robert, is I'm going to right-click here on the layers. It says layers, and after a little while, we can actually rename this.
Mm-hmm.
This is called layers right now. I'm going to right-click and go down. There's the properties down here. Got a limited window here, so I want to see if I can make sure it gets this. Can get
it. When you right-click, the property is going to be at the bottom, right?
Yep.
Even though you may not see it on the screen.
You may not see it on the screen. Well, you can't see it on the screen. If I double-click it, it'll do the same thing.
Okay.
I just double-clicked it.
Okay.
And here you go. It's going to come up with the data frame properties. You got many tabs here. You got a general tab that allows you to maybe name your project, name your layer, and give a description. We can call this South Zone 4205, and maybe let us know what the NAD 83. Give a little description here. Caps lock on. And we can leave it like this right now. Right now, I'm not going to set the units because I'm going to go ahead and set the coordinate system right now, Robert.
Okay.
I'm going to click on the coordinate. You can see there's no projection. It's pretty much waiting for us to tell it what we want to be working in.
User defined.
And I'm going to go to predefined and to the geographic coordinate system. I'm sorry. We're going to go to a projected coordinate system. And we're going to go down to state plane. NAD 83 feet. When I click on that, I'm just clicking on the folders. I click on these areas here. Now we're going to get a long list of all the states and all their zones.
Right.
I'm going to scroll down to Texas, and we want to be in state plane South 4205 right here.
That's South Texas, yes sir.
I'm going to click on it, and you can see as soon as I clicked on that and I highlighted it down here in this window, I got some information for current coordinate system.
Okay.
Lets us know that we're working in feet, and some other information on your faults northern and eastern here. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now you can see where we renamed the layer, the data frame here.
Right.
And I'm going to go ahead and double click on this and go back to the general tab. And earlier I said undefined units here. Now we have the map is actually in feet and the display is in feet. We can change it to something else, but we're going to go ahead and leave it in feet. Let me close that. And so now we've got a coordinate system. Now you can see our units scrolling around and our X and Y scrolling around. We don't have any data yet, so these numbers are just kind of random, numbers in the zone. And so first thing I'm going to do is add some data.
Okay.
I hit the Add Data button right here, a little yellow button with a little plus sign on it. Just click that, and I'm going to navigate to on my server where this data is. In a second, I'm going to actually show you how to map a drive. We hadn't done that. This is already mapped. I'm going to go ahead and add the data, and then we're going to kind of backtrack there.
When you say add the data, it really doesn't matter whether you start with your own survey data or culture data, or it doesn't matter. There's no wrong place to start as long as you're in the right state plane.
You want to set your zone first. If your data has a projection to it and it's in state plane coordinates, or you added a shape file that you maybe downloaded as your base map, let's say a parcel layer or something.
Yeah.
If it has a projection file with it and ArcView recognizes that, it'll automatically set the data frame to that coordinate system.
Wow.
So
that is awesome to know.
And right here, I'm going to the street map. When you buy ArcView, Robert, you'll have the street map data that comes with it, and there'll be some folder set up like this on a DVD.
Right.
You can copy it to your server like we did, or you can run it right off the DVD itself. When you double click the Street Map 9.3 folder, there's going to be another folder called Street Map _NA. When I double click that, I'm going to have a layer file called Street Map North America. This layer file it's not a shape file. It's a type of file that basically remembers symbology, labeling, text, stuff like that. And it's actually a group of files put together, and you'll see that in a second.